Good morning and welcome to this Thought for the Day for Friday, and our reading today is from Luke chapter 22, beginning at the first verse. Now the feast of unleavened bread called the Passover was approaching, and the chief priests and the teachers of the law were looking for some way to get rid of Jesus, for they were afraid of the people. Then Satan entered Judas, called Iscariot, one of the 12, and Judas went to the high priest and the officials of the temple guard and discussed with them how he might betray Jesus. They were delighted and agreed to give him money. He consented and watched for an opportunity to hand Jesus over to them when no crowd was present. Then came the day of unleavened bread, on which the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed. Jesus sent Peter and John, saying, "Go and make preparations for us to eat the Passover." "Where do you want us to prepare for it?" they asked. He replied, "As you enter the city, a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him to the house that he enters and say to the owner of the house, 'The teacher asks, where is the guest room where I may eat the Passover with my disciples?' He will show you a large upper room, all furnished. Make preparations there." They left and found things just as Jesus had told them. So they prepared the Passover. The beginning of today's reading is about Judas and the beginning of his betrayal of Jesus. It's the beginning of the end of the Passion story. And it just happens that the other reading that we might have chosen today from 1 Samuel is of the calling of Saul to be the first king of Israel and his anointing by Samuel. And so we have two characters who began well but finished badly. We really don't know what happened with Judas, how he came to be the one who betrayed Jesus, having been chosen as one of the 12 right at the beginning. And theories abound about the extent to which Jesus knew when he chose him what was going to happen, and what happened in Judas's life and in his mind. And we get just a little hints of how he became disaffected and ceased to sign up to the Jesus Kingdom project as the ministry continued. But we do know that he came to this point where he was prepared to betray his master, betray Jesus to the high priests for whatever motive. And we know as we read on in the story that it didn't end well for Judas. And whatever we may make of the Judas story, we must definitely notice that he seemed to start well but ended badly. Sadly, the story of the church is littered with glittering church leaders who failed in some way or another and ended badly. And I know that none of us want to fall into that category. We all want to end well with Jesus. Even Paul himself, in his letters, speaks of not yet having attained all that he was being called to, and knowing that he was running a race and that he needed to keep on running. And Peter reminds us that the devil is like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour, and we're invited in various places to resist the devil, to be aware of him, to see his stratagems and to resist his blandishments. Sadly, neither Saul nor Judas did that. And we read that Satan entered into Judas. And we know that just as Jesus doesn't force himself upon us, but comes in as a welcome guest, a willing guest, so Satan only comes in where he's invited, where he's allowed access. One of my favourite verses is from Hebrews, where in Hebrews chapter 12 we read, Therefore, since we're surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. How sad that Judas didn't do that. And let us learn from his witness, his example, as well as the witness of so many who ended well. And let us run the race with perseverance, with our eyes fixed on Jesus. So, have a great day. God bless you.